They say the hardest part of building attraction isn't getting someone's attention, it's making them think about you when you're not around. The truth is, getting a woman to miss you isn't about playing games or creating drama. It's about being strategic and intentional. You want her to think about you so much that even the smallest reminders of you spark a wave of emotions she can't ignore. But how do you make that happen without looking desperate or overdoing it? It's all about understanding the psychology behind desire and emotional connection. Imagine this. Every time you're away, she feels your absence so intensely that it creates a longing for your presence. But the problem most men face is that they don't know how to create that kind of emotional pull. They either stay too available, giving her no time to miss them, or they withdraw completely, leaving her confused or uninterested. You need balance, just enough space to create tension, but not so much that she starts to forget you. The first thing you need to understand is that people value what they can't always have. If you're constantly in her face, she has no time to process her feelings for you. Think about it. When was the last time you craved something you already had in abundance? Scarcity creates value, and value creates desire. That's why step one is learning how to create emotional moments that linger in her mind. It's not just about being present, it's about making an impression so strong that your presence feels irreplaceable. When you're with her, don't just have surface level interactions, connect on a deeper level. Maybe it's sharing a story that reveals your vulnerable side, or maybe it's finding a way to make her laugh so hard she remembers the exact moment every time she hears that joke. The goal is to create a highlight reel in her mind, a series of unforgettable moments she associates with you. Once you've done this, you'll already have a head start because her mind will naturally drift to you even when you're not around. Next, you need to master the art of mystery. Here's the deal. People are naturally curious about what they don't fully understand. If you're too predictable, you lose the intrigue. On the other hand, if you leave just enough unsaid, she'll start wondering about you. And that curiosity is exactly what keeps her thinking about you. Stop sharing every detail about your day or explaining every single decision you make. Instead, let her fill in the blanks. When she doesn't have the full story, her mind will keep working to figure it out. And guess what? That means she's thinking about you. To keep her interest, you also need to have a life outside of her. This is where most guys mess up. They put all their energy into her, forgetting that the most attractive thing about a man is his ambition, his independence, and his ability to live a full life without anyone's validation. You should be busy, genuinely busy. Spend time working on your goals, exploring your passions, and enjoying your own company. When your life is full, she'll notice, and instead of feeling neglected, she'll be drawn to your drive in the sense that you're someone who doesn't rely on others for happiness. That's the foundation for making her miss you, creating emotional impact, building curiosity, and showing her that your life is exciting and fulfilling. When you do these things, you become someone worth missing, and her mind will keep circling back to you no matter how far apart you are. When you've laid that foundation, the next step is learning how to control the flow of attention you give her. Most guys make the mistake of being overly available, replying instantly to texts, always being the first to call, or dropping everything just to spend time with her. While it may feel like you're showing how much you care, what you're actually doing is removing any sense of anticipation. Think about it. If you always know exactly when and how something will happen, there's no room for excitement or longing. You need to introduce an element of unpredictability into the dynamic. This doesn't mean ghosting her or ignoring her on purpose. It means being deliberate about your availability. When you limit your responses, or occasionally take time to focus on your own priorities, it sends a subtle but powerful message. Your time is valuable, and you're not just waiting around. This slight distance creates a space for her to miss you. She'll start wondering why you haven't replied yet, what you're doing, or who you're spending your time with. That curiosity builds tension, and tension leads to attraction. Another crucial step is understanding the power of leaving on a high note. Whether it's the end of a conversation, a date, or even a phone call, you want to make sure her last impression of you is positive and memorable. Don't drag things out until the energy fades. Instead, wrap things up while the mood is still great. It's the same reason why some of your favorite TV shows end episodes with cliffhangers. Leaving at the peak of excitement makes you eager for the next encounter. The same principle applies here. If every interaction with you leaves her feeling good, she'll naturally start to miss that feeling when you're not around. Now let's talk about contrast. Humans are wired to notice changes, and the bigger the contrast, the more impactful it feels. When you're with her, be fully present, engage with her, make her laugh, and give her your undivided attention. Then, when you step away, create some distance. This shift from high energy to quiet absence will make her hyper aware of the difference. She'll notice how much she enjoys being around you and how much she misses that energy when you're gone. The key is to create a dynamic that feels like a roller coaster, not in a chaotic way, but in a way that keeps her emotionally engaged. To reinforce this, sprinkle in moments of surprise. Predictability might feel safe, but it doesn't inspire longing. If you're always doing the same things, having the same conversations, or following the same routines, it's easy for her to take you for granted. Instead, shake things up every now and then. Maybe it's a spontaneous compliment she didn't see coming, or perhaps it's planning an unexpected outing. These surprises don't have to be grand, they just have to show that you're thoughtful and capable of keeping things interesting. By now, you can see how these steps work together. Each one builds on the last, creating an emotional experience that's hard to ignore. She starts to associate you with excitement, curiosity, and a feeling of being valued. And the more consistent you are with this approach, the stronger that connection becomes. The goal is to stay in her mind, even when you're not in the same room, and every action you take should contribute to that emotional imprint. At this point, you're starting to embed yourself in her mind. But now comes one of the most critical parts of the process: focusing on your own growth and individuality. Here's the thing: people are naturally drawn to those who are evolving. If she sees you constantly improving, chasing goals, and leveling up, she'll not only admire you, but also fear missing out on being part of your journey. This doesn't mean you're doing it for her approval. You're doing it for yourself. But the side effect is that it makes you incredibly hard to forget. Confidence is magnetic, but it's the kind of confidence that comes from within, not from validation or attention. When she notices you thriving, it creates a sense of intrigue. She'll wonder what's driving you, how you manage to keep things together, and whether she's a part of the bigger picture you're building. This is why it's so important to focus on being the best version of yourself. Start that side project you've been putting off, hit the gym regularly, learn a new skill, or reconnect with your passions. All of these things signal that you're a man with direction, and that's something she can't ignore. But personal growth isn't just about what you're doing, it's about how you carry yourself. Your body language, your tone of voice, and even the way you enter a room should exude self-assurance. When you walk with purpose and speak with intention, it leaves an impression. These subtle cues stick in her mind, and even in your absence, she'll replay those moments when you seemed untouchable yet approachable. It's a balance that keeps her hooked. Now, let's talk about making her feel special. When you're with her, the focus should be on creating an emotional connection. Compliment her in a way that feels personal and genuine. Don't just say, "You look nice." Instead, point out something unique, like how her laugh lights up the room, or how she has a knack for making people feel comfortable. These kinds of compliments stand out because they're tied to who she is, not just how she looks. And when you're not around, she'll miss the way you made her feel seen and appreciated. This ties directly into becoming irreplaceable. The more you differentiate yourself from every other guy she's met, the more she'll struggle to forget you. Maybe it's your sense of humor, your perspective on life, or the way you listen to her when she talks. Whatever it is, lean into those unique traits and amplify them. Show her that what you bring to the table is one of a kind, and she won't be able to stop comparing everyone else to you. Finally, you need to embrace patience. This isn't a quick process, and it requires consistency. If you're expecting instant results, you're missing the point. Emotional impact takes time to build, and the strongest connections are the ones that develop naturally. Give her the space to process her feelings and come to her own conclusions. Remember, the goal isn't to force her to miss you. It's to create a situation where she can't help but miss you because of the value you've added to her life. By focusing on these elements, your growth, her experience with you, and the space you allow for her emotions, you're setting the stage for a dynamic that feels effortless, yet deeply impactful. When you master this, you'll notice that she starts initiating more, reaching out to you first and finding reasons to be around you. That's the power of creating a connection that she truly values. When she begins to feel that pull towards you, it's time to cement your position in her mind by mastering the subtle art of emotional contrasts. People are drawn to variety, moments of excitement balanced with moments of calm. When you're with her, show her the full spectrum of who you are. Be playful and lighthearted one moment, then serious and reflective the next. This keeps things dynamic and ensures she never quite knows what to expect. That unpredictability isn't confusing, it's intriguing. It makes every interaction with you feel fresh, like there's always something new to discover. But don't mistake contrast for inconsistency. While you want to keep things exciting, you also need to provide a sense of security. She needs to feel that despite the emotional highs and lows, you're grounded and dependable. This balance between excitement and stability is what creates an irresistible dynamic. It's the same reason why people crave their favorite thrill rides. They know it's a wild experience, but they also trust that it's safe. Another way to deepen the emotional connection is by creating moments where she feels like she's the only one who truly gets to see the real you. Share a story from your past that shaped who you are today, or let her in on your ambitions for the future. These glimpses into your life give her something to hold on to when you're not around. They become the things she replays in her mind, building that sense of intimacy even in your absence. At the same time, be sure to maintain your boundaries. Nothing is more attractive than someone who knows their worth and isn't afraid to enforce it. If she oversteps or disrespects your time, calmly but firmly address it. This shows that while you value her, you also value yourself. That self-respect is something she'll admire, and it will make her see you as someone she wants in her life long term. Another subtle but powerful tactic is to let her invest in you. People value what they work for, so give her opportunities to contribute to the relationship. This could be as simple as letting her plan a date or asking for her advice on something meaningful. When she invests her time, effort, or emotions into you, it deepens her connection and makes her more likely to miss you when you're not around. And finally, the last piece of the puzzle is consistency. It's not about doing these things once or twice. It's about building a pattern of behavior that leaves an impression. Over time, she'll associate you with feelings of excitement, connection, and curiosity. When she thinks of you, it won't just be about the moments you shared. It'll be about the emotions you stirred within her. That's what creates longing. In the end, making a woman miss you isn't about tricks or tactics. It's about creating a genuine emotional experience that lingers in her mind. By focusing on your own growth, maintaining balance in your interactions, and giving her something to invest in, you're building a connection that's both powerful and lasting. This approach isn't just about making her miss you, it's about becoming someone she's truly excited to have in her life. If you've followed these steps, you'll know you've done it right when you see her craving your presence, initiating contact, and finding excuses to spend time with you. That's the result of showing her what life is like with you and letting her feel the contrast when you're not there. Subscribe for more powerful strategies or check out the next video. It's exactly what you need.